Hi again, my friends. I just thought you might like to see this. This is that fruit that was ripening up on the Hawaiian Gold Papaya. It's the 5th of April 2021 and pouring rain again. So I decided I'd give you a bit of a window tour. A tour of my garden from the windows, because it's pretty wet and miserable out there. And this is a good view of my Hawaiian papaya, because I'm on the second story here. I just wanted you to see just how horizontal this branch is. And it's just what it wants to do, this papaya. It used to be taller than the roof originally. Now I picked it on the day I took the video, and a few days have passed now. I picked it when it was a little bit green because of the flying foxes around here. So I've just given it a few days to ripen up inside the house. Yeah, and just thought I'd give you a look at it and slice it open. Looks pretty nice, huh? And these are an excellent fruit. So this is the first fruit of 2021. They can get twice as big. But they often tend to be around this size or a little bit bigger. Sometimes a little smaller too, but they're generally around this size. Or something I'll point out, see how the shape is just a little, it's not real symmetrical. And I put that down to the sandy soils and lack of trace elements. Yeah, because the very first fruit that I got off this tree, oh, it was weird. It was really weird. And I thought, my God, it didn't taste very good either. The very first fruit that I got from this tree many years ago. Yeah, very weird looking, didn't taste very good. And I thought, trace elements. I'll give it trace elements, see what happens. And I gave it trace elements, and then it just really responded. It started putting out lots of fruit, and the fruit was much more symmetrical. Maybe that's the best word for it, huh? It was just much more symmetrical. And yeah, this one's just a little like, yeah, it's not real symmetrical, is it? It's a little kind of weird shaped. I haven't really given it enough trace elements this last couple of years, so that could be the reason, hey? That could be the reason. I gave it a little bit of trace elements about 4 months ago. But to me, the way this fruit is a sign to add more trace elements. That's how I take it. But yeah, otherwise it should be very good. It's a beautiful fruit, this. The nicest yellow I've ever tried. The nicest yellow papaya I've ever eaten. So okay, we'll slice it open. Let's see if it lives up to what I'm saying. Yeah, and it just slices like soft butter. It's so soft. Look at that, hey? Not many seeds, that's usually how it is. It had one male, but it died, but then it just kept fruiting. Perhaps something else was crossing it. I've got 3 new Hawaiian Gold Papayas now that I've grown from seed. Yeah, you see them out the back too. They were raised from seed. So far they're living up to expectations. I've got a few fruit off them. But yeah, so I'll hang on to those seeds. I do have a small jar of seeds, but it might be getting a bit old, and I do want to plant some more of these. So as we can see, I think only the black seeds are going to sprout. It seems a bit more than half the seeds are light coloured, which suggests they're not ripe enough. But yeah, I'll keep those seeds. And look at that, it's even like, it's kind of quite wet now that I've sliced it. It's quite wet, it's almost dripping. It's almost dripping. Beautiful fruit. I guess it's been raining so much. They were very wet. The tree was very wet when I picked this fruit. Oh yeah, tastes good too, eh? Tastes good. Yep, I'm not a big fan of yellow papaya, but I've only ever had a few that I liked, and this is definitely one of them. This one is very good. Extremely delicious papaya. And I found it almost tastes creamy. It's sweet. It's so light it just melts in your mouth. You know, like cutting it then, it was like cutting melted butter. It just sliced open so easy. Now I find them sweet, and they've almost got like a creaminess about them. Just quite superb. They really are. I'm so lucky I got this tree. Yeah, and now I got 3 new females, and I've left 1 male. I had a few other males, but I've cut them out, and I've left 1 male there at the backyard in the jungle. And 2 of those are just coming into their own now, actually. They're about 1.5 years old, and this year they're putting out quite a bit of fruit. Well, maybe a bit more than 1.5 years old. They were pot bound for a while. They were in small pots for too long, but then when I put them out in the backyard there, they took off really quick. It's a big plant. It's a big, strong papaya plant, I find. It's much stronger than the dwarf ties, grows much bigger, it seems to resist disease and insect attacks a lot better. I had, you may have known from previous videos, I had a really bad fruit spotting bug infestation in this yard, and it would virtually kill my dwarf ties, but this Hawaiian Gold could live through it. But still, my Hawaiian Golds at the backyard, I had to chop them back because they did get such a hiding from the fruit spotting bug. But this year I've been all clued up on how to deal with the fruit spotting bug, thanks to some of the good people in Oz Rare Fruit, the Oz Rare Fruit page on Facebook. I've learnt some very good tips in there over the last few years, and I'd never even heard of fruit spotting bug, never had any problems with it before. Well, and actually, when I heard about it, I was having problems, but I couldn't figure out what was going on. I knew it was some sort of bug or borer, and then I started reading people talking about this fruit spotting bug on the Oz Rare Fruit Facebook page, and I realised that's what I had. And now I'm doing the right spraying program. I was using pyrethrin. You know, for the last 40 years, pretty much all I've ever needed is pyrethrin insecticide to kill pests, and that's organically certified. It's allowed to use pyrethrin in organic gardens, but it just wasn't strong enough for my problem, I found. And like, pyrethrin is a contact spray. It has to actually hit the bugs, and it will only kill in about the first 24 hours of spraying it, and it just wasn't enough to deal with this fruit spotting bug problem. And yeah, people in the Oz Rare Fruit spoke of permethrin, claiming I had to use permethrin, and I didn't want to do it, but after more trial and error I reluctantly decided to step up to permethrin. And permethrin is a chemical copy of pyrethrin, Okay, the pyrethrin comes from the pyrethrin daisy, and it's a very natural poison, but it's still a poison. But permethrin is a chemical copy, and that makes it, one of the benefits is it's more persistent. I can spray with permethrin, and if the weather's dry, it will continue to kill bugs for even a month, up to a month, even longer potentially. But you can be killing bugs for a month after spraying in dry weather with the permethrin. And that's what I needed to get that fruit spotting bug. I needed that permethrin for it to have a longer kill, and it doesn't have to be a contact poison. It will kill them further down the track. So yeah, last year my papaya, the outside of the fruit had lots of fruit spotting bug bites, but this year it's perfectly clean. It's beautiful and clean. Actually, there's a couple of bites that have just been recent since it's been in the house, ripening up. But otherwise, it's perfectly clean. Just beautiful looking fruit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm real happy with that. That's really nice. And I'll give you a taste test. Like, of course I'm going to say it's good. Oh, look, even there, that's interesting too. Again, it's a bit deformed. Look at that. And I put it down again to trace elements. See how it's fatter on that side than that side. Isn't that interesting? The flesh there. Yep, and I'm pretty sure if I get my trace elements right, give that tree some more trace elements, the fruit will be more symmetrical, better balanced. You know what I mean? I'll cut it open and both sides will look identical, and I could slice through any side of it and everything will be symmetrical. Whereas it's kind of a little deformed. Because, oh, again, it's a very sandy soil. There's basically zero nutrients in my soil. So I've got to add trace elements every 6 months, really, for good growth. Anyway, here goes. We'll put the spoon in. Yep, it just cuts in very easy. Very soft flesh. And I'll give it a try. Oh yeah, and it's amazing. It just disintegrates. It just melts in my mouth. It's so soft. Don't have to chew it, just touch it with the tongue. And it just falls to pieces and turns to puree. It's really nice, hey? It's so good. See, it's just turned to liquid. It's amazing. Yeah, that's as good as it gets. That's yeah, a very beautiful fruit. It's been a while since I've had one. It's been a few months. I think my last fruit might have been about August, September, October. I can't be sure, but it was, yeah, it was sort of in the later part of last year. But it's back now. I'll be getting a few every week now. I should be. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. It's really good. Just beautifully ripe. It would have been better to ripen it on the tree, but I just can't get away with that anymore with with the flying foxes, with the fruit bats. They'll beat me every time. So I've got to pick them greener these days, unfortunately. Yeah, but that's ripened up very nicely, just in the house. I think it's been about 3 days. It's been picked. Yeah, and that's really good fruit. You just can't go wrong with that tree. This could almost turn me. You know, I've been a big lover of the red papaya, but this tree is so good. Hey, I bought this fruit by accident. I thought I was buying a red bisexual, And there was red bisexuals and Hawaiian Golds for sale side by side in Bunnings. And I bought 5 of what I thought were red bisexuals. And 4 of them turned into males, so I was spewing. And 1 turned into this thing. So yeah, I was pissed off. And especially when I ate the first fruit, and I was saying the first fruit was deformed and it tasted bad. It wasn't good because it was so low on nutrients. Just growing in the sand and no trace elements. And after eating the first fruit, I was spewing. I was so pissed off at Bunnings that it was yellow. You know, I thought I'd bought a bisexual red. Well, I bought 5 of the damn things, bisexual reds. 4 turned into male. You know, I ended up chopping 3 out and left 1 male. And that's when I got really determined and got my dwarf ties. I got them directly from Thailand. But they still weren't, you know, there's still a few problems with my dwarf ties too. But yeah, I was spewing, and it's just sheer accident, and I've just stumbled upon this fruit, and it's bloody good. And there's a slight possibility I'm wrong, but I'm mostly sure this is a Hawaiian Gold. There might be other people who could verify that for me too out there, other papaya experts. But yeah, like I said, there was bisexual red papayas and Hawaiian Golds for sale and Bunning side by side. Couldn't tell the difference between them. And I bought 5 bisexual reds. That was what the tag said. So all I can put it down is they've mixed the tag up. So, you know, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming these are Hawaiian Golds. But whatever they are, they're really good. They are really, really good. And I'll be growing more of these. Never expected to. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Beautiful fruit. You know, the yellows sort of have a bile-like taste. Would tend to. They've sort of got a... Yeah, it tastes like bile, stomach bile. There's just something that's not quite right about the damn things. Tends to. Years ago I had a very nice round yellow that was very good too. It didn't have that bile-like taste, and it was quite sweet. Now there is some nice yellows around. But yeah, this is the best ever. I don't think I've ever tasted a yellow as good as this. Let's see if I can show you how easy it just crushes. Look at that. Just turns into puree. Look, it's just with the lightest of effort of that spoon. And there it is, just puree. It's just so light and fluffy. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, and it's kind of creamy. I know that sounds unusual for a papaya, but I would describe it as sweet and kind of creamy. Yeah. Light, just melt in your mouth, like it literally just turns to puree in your mouth. Beautiful. Such a nice fruit. So lucky to have jagged this tree. And it's successes like this that make me want to go back into growing large amounts of papaya again. Because I did have a small papaya farm once, about 17 years ago. And yeah, I really love growing these plants. I really do. And I've still got a bit of ground, and sometimes I do dream about going back to that ground and trying again. And I didn't do too bad, but the drought beat me. It's a very arid spot where I grew my papaya. That can be good because it's a spot that really brings out the sugars in fruit. I had some very nice trees, plants. Plants is the real name for them. I prefer to call them trees personally, I always have. Yeah, it's an area that really brings out the sugars, but it just got too dry on me. I just had to abandon my plants, my little small papaya farm. I didn't even go back to see its demise, but I imagine it just blew away in the wind. It just got so dry. We had a terrible drought. This was back in about, back in about 2004. I think that's about it, 2003, 2004. I had the money, my dams were bone dry, but I had the money to get a bore, to put a bore in. There's good spots to put a bore in on this land, get the underground water. But when I rang the guy up, the local guy, there was just so many people who also wanted to get bores. There was just a big long list of people who were just desperate to get underground water, and there was a 1 year waiting list. So yeah, I put myself down. I had to wait a year for him to come and bore my ground, put a bore in and get some water out of the ground for me. So by then it was too late. I already lost the papaya. And I just gave up. Look, he did ring me. He said, you know, I'm ready to go for you. And I said, nah, don't worry about it, mate. I'd already given up. And that's when I was first learning about the Philippines. I was starting to seriously think, well, I want to live in the Philippines. I've had enough of here in Australia. Yeah. And that's when my first adventures in the Philippines started, in 2005. Well, that's another story. Oh yeah, very good fruit. Hey, if you could only taste it, you would love it. I don't think many people would not like it. It's just superb. Yeah, not many seeds there, hey. Some farmers might even say it's not very viable because it's got so few seeds. It's lighter. The fruit's much lighter. Yeah, I think a lot of them would prefer to sell it with more seeds because it's heavier. It's heavier fruit. If they're going to go to the effort to pick something that size, a lot of farmers would probably prefer the fruit to be to weigh more. But it's funny how people think like that. Greed drives their decisions. When I think there's a lot to say for just playing it straight. And if you had this product, a lot of people would see it for what it is, you know, once they know how good it is. And just having a few seeds is even more benefit, really, because the fruit is lighter and you're just getting the good papaya flesh. You're not paying for seeds. Yeah, it's so nice to eat it. I've been eating these for years and I'm just as happy now as I was years ago. And the good thing is, look, it's autumn now and we're heading towards winter, and the local papayas in the shops, they're just absolute garbage in winter. They're just terrible. So this tree sustains me, keeps me going through winter. And I still buy their rubbish papayas, but I still persist with them, but they're not very good. But these are just an absolute delight. Yeah, very good. This is living, man, you know, when you're eating food like this. This is when you're living like a king. Hey, when you got the good stuff. When you got the good stuff, that's it, eh? Just such beautiful stuff. Well, I hope you like to see that, my friends. And if you like the video, hope you give me a thumbs up. And please subscribe me. I'm looking for subscribers. I've only got a few so far, and the more subscribers the better. The more incentive I'll have to keep making videos. Yeah, that is just a really beautiful papaya. Look how pureed that is already. It's just so soft and fluffy. And yeah, I'm nearly 100% sure this is an Hawaiian Gold. So if you ever see these around, Hawaiian Golds, give them a try. I think, you know, if it's anything like this, you will not be disappointed. And to grow the trees, it's a very productive tree. A big, strong, productive tree. Grows a huge amount of fruit. Okay, my friends. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.